Long time no see, everybody. For those who might have forgotten me, my name's Max and I used to host a YouTube channel named The Black Jersey. Now, where I've been in the last year or so is a long story, so I'm going to cut to the chase and eventually just get to the fact that I currently work for a professional rugby team, so therefore I've been muzzled a little bit regarding what I'm allowed to talk about on this channel. One thing that I'm not barred from discussing though is the British and Irish Lions tour to Australia that is only a few months away. Now, obviously with the Lions tour being so close, a lot of people do seem to get a bit carried away. Lots of people, they have their predictions, they have their bolters, and they have the arguments about, oh, so-and-so should be in the team, otherwise the coach should be fired. The one thing though that I've learned in the last year of working for a professional team is that the fans do not know what the insiders know. And when it comes to international rugby, a lot of coaches have to work around the players they have been limited with. Whereas with clubs, you can decide, right, this is the way I want to play, and I can just sign whoever to make the team based from that. But the topic of today's video is going to be about the selection criteria based on who the Lions have as their coaches and these coaches' previous history. With coaches, they all have their methodologies that is no different from coaches coaching at club rugby to coaches in international sports or even coaches in the grassroots. All coaches have different philosophies, and that's what we are going to be going into with this video. Because the thing is, while your favourite player might be an excellent, outstanding, tactical genius, he might not be the right fit for the coach's strategy. We're going to run through the coaches for the Lions, explain what they have as unique perceptions of the game, and what styles they will bring to this team. We're going to start off with the head coach himself, Andy Farrell. Nobody was surprised at the end of 2023 when he was named as the bloke that was going to coach this team. Andy Farrell, throughout his history as a head coach, has coached two different nations as an assistant and as a head coach, and he's one of few exceptions to the rule of assistant coaches biding their time and going straight to international rugby as a head coach. Andy Farrell has a very distinctive coaching style that has made him the greatest Irish coach in the history of the game. It's no coincidence that their sloppy, I'll say, Six Nations was in sync with his absence from the role. He does have one key distinctive move throughout all of his time as a head coach. As the head coach of Ireland, every first five or fly half, as my viewers will say, has been a bossy, alpha dog that will be an on-field coach. The exception to this rule is Billy Burns, and obviously he finished playing for Ireland with single-figure caps. We now go on to Richard Wigglesworth, who is going to be the senior assistant coach from my understanding. Not all of these assistant coaches have been given designated roles as far as I'm aware, but as far as I'm aware, I've just got labels for them based on their past experiences or media articles that I've read. So Richard Wigglesworth was a bit of a surprise to say the least when it came to this team. Richard Wigglesworth has not been a coach for very long at all. He was playing only 4 years ago, and he retired immediately to become interim head coach of the Leicester Tigers. When he moved from Saracens to play for Leicester, he was in a player coaching role, and he's got a very, very kick-chase heavy attack structure that he implements with England right now. He also used this theory as the basis of the attack with Leicester when he was the assistant coach, and that did do very well for them, winning them a trophy. A key distinctive move for this coach though is that he has both played and coached alongside Maro Itoje, Jamie George and Owen Farrell. All three of them are obviously candidates to be the captain of the British and Irish Lions, having all captained England over the last few years themselves. We now go to Simon Easterby, current interim head coach for the Irish. He's done a very, very good job as their defence coach and as their forwards coach over the last decade, and his coaching style has some very, very interesting qualities that bode very well for players who are great over the ball. Throughout his history as the Irish defence coach, he's been selecting dual open side flankers. When CJ Stander retired from playing to move back to South Africa, he reinstated Peter O'Mahony as the number 6, with Caelan Doris moving into the number 8 role and Jack Conan covering all three off the bench. This was so Peter O'Mahony and Josh van der Flier could be absolute menaces at the breakdown and just do their thing. He's got very, very strong cover defence. That's one thing he also does. And obviously, a key distinctive move he's made is usher Sam Prendergast into the role of 10 over Jack Crowley, and the other one that's perhaps the most telling about how he coaches, this is the fact that he dropped 6'5" Will Connors from the Irish team very early on from his move from forwards coach to defence coach. We now move over to John Fogarty, and I think this is going to bode very well for players with good ball handling skills if they want to make the British and Irish Lions. He's only been the scrum coach of 2 professional teams, Leinster and Ireland himself. A thing he likes to do is he likes to select locks to be link men, and he likes a lot of mobility from his front row as well. Dan Sheehan, for example, he's scored more tries than any forwards in the history of the Six Nations, and he's only a year older than me. That tells you something, does it not? John Fogarty also demands a lot from his boys at the scrum, so I'm sure they're going to go into this tour with confidence at set piece. We now move into another surprise pick, I guess I'll say. This is John Dalziel. He's been the head coach of the Scottish Sevens. He's coached them at age grade level. He's coached the Glasgow Warriors, and now he's involved with the Scottish men themselves. He is very, very similar in terms of philosophy to Simon Easterby. Throughout his time in his role with the Scottish men's 15 side, he has consistently and repeatedly selected the trio of Matt Fagerson, Jamie Ritchie, and Rory Darge. Jack Dempsey is definitely a favourite of his as well, so this is clearly indicating he likes big ball carrying number 8s, such as Caelan Doris. The thing is about this as well is it's also going to align quite strongly with Richard Wigglesworth. Rory Darge, Jamie Ritchie, Jack Dempsey in particular, all pitch perfect, outstanding when it comes to getting kick chases and running it up the guts. And the final coach that we're going to run through is Andrew Goodman. Andrew Goodman has had a bit of an interesting career as a coach because once upon a time he was the head coach of Tasman down here in New Zealand and an assistant coach here for the Crusaders. He's also once again very aligned with Richard Wigglesworth on wanting players who are good with the kick chase. He, for example, was the architect behind David Havili moving from number 15 to number 12 at the Crusaders. Outside him, he had Levi Almua and Alex Nankerville, very, very strong runners of the ball back in his Tasman days. Having coached Havili for both teams, I think he knew what he was going to get out of him at 12 at the end of the day. As of recent times, he's been an assistant with Leinster, and he's now moved into the assistant coaching role with the Irish. A lot of people had a bit of backlash towards Andrew Goodman, but given the fact that he coached James Lowe all the way back at Tasman, I think it's clearly indicating they want to play an attack structure similar to how the Irish have played in the last few years. Because of these factors, I think it's going to be a last hurrah for the greatest Irish rugby team of all time. I'm going to follow this video up with players who are in contention. I'm going to have a third video of players who are going to make the tour, in my opinion, based on what these coaches like. And of course, someday later, I'll probably make a video reacting to who's made the team. While I'm not going to be returning to YouTube in the long term, this is just a short stint back to cover the Lions tour. I want to say thank you very much to everybody who's watched me throughout the years, and I'm also very thankful to the guys who have followed me go from an independent creator to working for a professional rugby team, and I want to give a huge amount of props to everybody that supported me throughout this mission. I want to give this one last hurrah myself, rather, before I in turn retire from YouTube permanently. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Cheers, team.